But yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome back. Sorry, it's been a bit of a hiatus. We've had some scheduling issues. It's summertime. You know, shit is what it is. The world.
For one of us.
What's up?
It's
It's the middle of the winter for
Oh,
one of
yeah,
us.
Which makes things really hard.
You're right. But yeah, so that's why we're using this overlay today. Spudley is away, so I'll have the party roll for him if necessary. We'll see how things go. But yeah, I'll give a little quick recap here. Last time on Simply Another Band of Curiously Odd Travelers, our party had headed out into the now smoldering, ignited portions of the city of Drakenheim. Holy fire spreading across various neighborhoods as contingents of Silver Order Knights proceeded to scorch the earth rather than allow the contamination of the delirium to spread further throughout the world. In addition, the party was urged to meet with the Silver Order. Less so meet as demanded, as they were accused of killing members of the Silver Order not but a few weeks prior and stealing a holy relic. Whether or not this actually occurred is speculation and hearsay, but nevertheless, our party, after much deliberation, decided it best to leave the barracks and fight out in the open. Unfortunately, the group they came upon was led none other by the leader of the knights themselves, the Knight Commander Theodore Marshall, a powerful holy warrior of the Silver Order Knights and the Church of the Sacred Flame. After heated discussions where the Knight Commander had demanded you all relinquish the sacred blade of Vitruvio, the Blade Ignatius, you all refused, as well as refused a number of their other demands, after which negotiations swiftly broke down and a fight ensued. The fight was dangerous, to say the least, as you all encountered the full might of a seasoned paladin of the Silver Order. But after a grueling back and forth, often, I think all but one of you at least going down one time or another, you were able to overcome the Knight Commander and return, carrying his body back to the barracks among some of his various items on his person. I forget if it was Georgio or Cedric. One of you had found a note among his belongings as well, referring to your companion Chugrulk. In less than favorable circumstances, a bounty on his head for approximately 10,000 gold from one of the lords, one of the nobility here in the state of Westamar, the overarching country whose capital is Drakenheim. Now, as you return into the barracks of the Hooded Lanterns, the body of the Knight Commander in tow, you see shocked faces of the various Hooded Lanterns who were not present during this whole ordeal, as well as the Lord Commander Elias Drexel. But nevertheless, he nods to you all as you enter, and immediately calls for the apothecaries and loyal flamekeepers to the city of Drakenheim and the country of Westamar to come and assist with delivering what aid they can to you immediately. But more than likely, a much-needed rest is in order. But nevertheless, you carry with you some of the belongings of the Knight Commander, but you see that even though the Silver Order and thus the holy country of Illyria now stands in opposition to the city of Drakenheim and potentially the country of Westamar as a result of this incident. Nevertheless, he orders that a group of the Hooded Lanterns perform proper funeral rites for this fallen knight before looking to you all, but urging that the commanding officer, the fallen commanding officer, be returned to the other members of the Silver Order, but not without a demand to begin leaving the city. I don't imagine this won't have a severe impact on their morale. Seeing their commanding officer slain would have a similar impact for any company of soldiers. We will deliver with as much care as we can in the morning, along with a demand to leave the city. I apologize that you all had to engage in this. But nevertheless, you've done a great service for this city. I apologize that you had to step in this matter, but I fear this may not be the last time this occurs. You all look like you need some rest. We'll speak further in the morning when emotions have calmed and the situation has had time to right itself. You look on as he begins to issue orders to the various members of the returning Hooded Lanterns that had assisted you all in this endeavor. Some of the urban rangers that had stayed atop the rooftops and assisted in this battle from a distance. But with that, as you all find yourselves extremely exhausted, wounded, but successful nonetheless, as night begins to fall, what do you do?
I have anything that I would like to do besides rest. There's a few things, but that would be tomorrow.
Yeah, if Georgio's gonna rest, then I'll just go as well. There are a couple of things I want to go ahead and tend to, but I can wait.
I don't think I got anything either, so I'm good with just resting.
Yeah, I gotta wait a day for the armor still, I think, so that'll be a tomorrow thing. Oh, I have the note, by the way. Just to
Yeah, you have it.
I got the note and have not informed anyone of anything
Okay.
regarding the note's existence at all.
Okay.
Trying to think if there's... I mean, like, I know that there's people that we need to talk to, do stuff, but again, nothing so urgent that it needs to be done before we can get a long rest in.
Yeah, agreed.
As fatigue overtakes you, you find yourselves back below ground in the barracks, below the debilitating effects of the haze that surround this area. And after a much-needed night's sleep, you all can go ahead and take a long rest.
Thank God.
Following morning, as many mornings begin here in the city of Drakenheim, the Hooded Lanterns are early to rise. You're woken up with the sound of carts moving to and from the portcullis gates of the barracks themselves, and through the outer perimeter wall. In addition, you hear the sound of hammering metal among various other sounds as you find your way up to the surface level of the barracks. This morning there's a low fog cover that kind of intermingles with the outer edges of the haze in this area. There's no rainfall this morning, but a dense fog that fills the area. The air is still and calm, as if a bit somber after the events of the previous day. You can see just at the edge of the barracks, towards the portcullis gate facing due eastward, you can see what looks like a body wrapped up in cloth, resting within a cart. You see emblems of the sacred flame placed upon them, a pair of flame keepers, older women, likely members of the smaller denominations back in Emberwood Village, come to perform various funeral rites for what you can only assume is the body of the late Knight Commander. As the cart begins to move off eastward and a bit southward, you understand, as it is accompanied by a rather large contingent of hooded lanterns. Based on its trajectory, you can likely tell that it's heading towards Templegate, the site of the major joint battle where you had dispatched a large number of the Garmir, the wolf-like bipedal monsters that had taken hold of that particular entrance to the city. And of course, later on, their massive pack lord leader known as the Lord of the Feast. Up until this point, the Silver Order Knights had used this location within the city as sort of a satellite hub outside of the larger military station, Camp Dawn, much further west outside the city. But this was a heavy blow, losing one's primary leader. Never bodes well for morale. You see a number, not a great amount, but about 3 or 4 passing mages wearing purplish robes. River is not to be seen, but Tim, you do see Eldrick speaking with one of the mages before they begin to walk outside a bit further south. You've seen this sort of coming and going through these various areas. You never really see where, why. The general, they come and go through this area almost like a checkpoint. Some coming, usually coming south from Emberwood Village, or coming from the south and then heading north. And you imagine, based on the trajectory and what events have transpired. They're likely heading towards the inscrutable tower. Giorgio, you see, as you come out of the subterranean portions of the barracks, on the opposite end of the barracks themselves, hammering hard against a large pauldron-like segment of armor, Tobias Crow, a red-headed, pepper-bearded, burly blacksmith man that you had made a deal with to create some specialty armor not but a couple days prior. You don't see the whole armor. You see this one piece, but you do see there's a large sort of mannequin, part of which is covered up. And at this distance, you can see it looks to be these plates are quite thick and robust. Even from the piece that you see, one of these shoulder pauldrons is quite substantial. As he, with tremendous focus, hammers on this material from the opposite end of the barracks. Cedric, you also see, as this sort of jumps out to you, you see there are a handful of what appears to be they're in sort of traditional robes, very modest attire of the sacred flame, but not the flame keepers that you're more familiar with seeing throughout the world, but you have seen some of this attire recently. As you look on and see these individuals, you get the idea that they appear to be likely members of what you can only imagine are involved with the splinter sect of the Sacred Flame, the members of the Falling Fire, the sort of Drakenheim-centric splinter sect of the Sacred Flame, concentrated here within the city. With all this in mind, what would you all like to do?
I'm gonna go converse with them, because were they the ones that were on like the outskirts in Emberwood Village?
Yes, you've seen them passing to and from. A lot of the time, it is they come through. A lot of them are before heading towards what you now know as Saint Selena's monastery or abbey, which is fairly close to the southern half of the wall and very close to the crater, the main impact site of the meteor that had struck the city 15 years prior. But you have seen them coming to and from Emberwood Village. You've seen them occasionally within parts of the city proper. But this is the first time you've seen them around the barracks. And the first of them you've seen since your encounter with their leader, Lucretia Matthias, in the Cathedral of St. Vitruvio, when you just after you defeated the Lord of the Feast. But you said you approached them?
Yeah, just approach them, see what they're doing there, since the last time I think we saw them, it was all kind of, I don't know, a bit heated, I suppose.
There was indeed a fair amount of intensity as their contingent had joined an already tense situation within the cathedral. As you know, this splinter sect of the Church of the Sacred Flame, although they believe in this abstract holy deity, their worship of said flame does not coincide with the majority. The little that you know is that they follow the prophetic visions of their leader, Lucretia Matthias, who doesn't see the stones that you know as delirium as necessarily a fundamental evil substance. In fact, in your experiences with them, in your closer observations, you see that some of these members even have shards of delirium embedded in their bodies. A strange situation, as in most cases, the vast majority of cases, this would be either fatal or worse. These people would become completely corrupted beyond repair, turned into abominations by contact with delirium, much less having it injected into their bodies. And yet these people seem fine, capable, even more capable than, or as capable or more than most flame keepers that you know. As you approach, you don't see this sort of soft, dim glow in their chest of these two individuals, but nevertheless, you see the sort of rough emblem of the Church of the Falling Fire, or the sect of the Falling Fire. Whereas the Church of the Sacred Flame usually is some sort of brass or copper or golden cup containing a broad flame in the center, not unlike the braziers that you often see, or that are the centerpiece of most churches to the Sacred Flame. This one is similar and yet different. It is a circular meteor-like falling star into said goblet. It is, although similar, distinctly its own. You can see them discussing, specifically one of them is looking over at the body being carted away now into the distance, down the city streets and out of the barracks. Or out of the barracks and down the city streets, likely towards Temple Gate. One of the individuals is a younger man, probably late teens, early 20s. The other individual is much older, completely gray hair, most of which on the top of his head is completely fallen out. He has a very scruffy, grayish beard, almost no hair on the top of his head, like a skullet almost wrapping around the back of his head, as he observes and speaks quietly with his younger companion. What do you do?
I'm gonna let the two people kind of be and talk to the other, the first one that you had mentioned, and just go talk and start to inquire why they would be there and not regular members of the Sacred Flame.
Good morning, sir. May the flame be with you. May I help you?
I'm just curious. I know that you are associated with Lucretia and are followers of the Falling Fire. I just don't typically see you this far into the city. I'm just a little bit curious as to why you're here. We've run into your kind in the past, and it's always been quite cordial, and I'm just a little bit surprised.
Well, I insisted that I be allowed to come in and pay respects to a good man. I, in my younger years, was one of the young squires. I was not able to be successful and join the Silver Order. I was unfortunately quite frail and was cast out. But nevertheless, I still hold strong faith. And as I've gotten older, I found myself pulled towards this, the teachings of Lucretia Matthias. She is a different sort of beacon of light and hope in this world. And over time, I made it my duty to come here and serve in a different way. But nevertheless, I was familiar with this man, Lord Knight Commander Theodore Marshall. He was a good man. He did quite a lot in the times surrounding the civil wars of Westmar, as well as other incidents surrounding the continent, and I simply wish to pay my respects.
He certainly did a lot. Just also curious, how did news of this get to your lot? It seems like word spread kind of fast.
Well,
And he points up to the still slowly smoldering and the smoke around the city.
It would be quite difficult for one to not notice that something intense and dangerous was going on all around the city. We tried to avoid any direct conflict. We are not fighters, but nevertheless, we once the incidents and chaos had seemed to settle down a bit, we members of our group decided to venture out and learn what was going on. And I just happened to be passing this way, and one of the soldiers here asked if I would help perform rites for a fallen individual. As to say, I was shocked when I learned of whom I would be performing these rites for.
Yeah, it's quite shocking, and I mean, thank you for your service. Did you hear anything about how exactly the Knight Commander fell, or what had happened?
I don't have the details, unfortunately, but I would assume, based on his wounds, he died in battle. He appeared to have several fatal wounds within his chest, likely from a sword or some other piercing device.
Yeah, I'm gonna stretch a little bit and say, yeah, he probably fought well. And I'm again just gonna thank the gentleman for his service and for making it out so far, and for wanting to perform last rites of sorts for someone that he respected. Then I'm gonna walk away and let him grieve or whatever he needs to do.
He bows his head to you.
May the flame be with you.
I pull on the collar of my shirt like, ooh, walk away.
Laven.
Laven.
While this is going on, Tim, you feel a presence approaching you.
I love presents.
A familiar presence at this point.
Oh, those.
As
Okay.
you hear the footsteps and the heavier footsteps of Eldrick Runeweaver, accompanied by a large shield golem, not unlike the ones that you fought in the base of the inscrutable tower. And you've seen these constructs accompanying high-profile members of the Academy quite frequently. But nevertheless, he approaches you.
Morning, Tim. How are you doing? You recovered from your battles yesterday.
I am feeling quite keen. Thank you for asking.
It's good to hear. I've got a bit of news that concerns you.
Okay.
I had mentioned that I had had conversations with the Academy Directorate. I know it's not often that an individual, most mages don't even know of the Directorate, much less have spoken with them. But when it comes to powerful artifacts in the care of the Academy, it often comes down to decisions directly from this governing body. It was a long discussion, but given your adept demonstration and control of the inscrutable staff, the Directorate has deemed it for the time being to allow you to continue wielding the staff. On one condition. As we previously discussed, that powerful magical item is property of the Amethyst Academy, and as such, it needs to be wielded by a member of the Academy. A formal member of the Academy. Up until now, you've simply been sort of an independent contractor of sorts, which is not always objectable, but in this circumstance, the Academy has stated that in order to continue to carry this item, they need you to formally rejoin the Amethyst Academy.
I will definitely consider the offer. Consider it done.
Very well. As I don't know if you've remembered from your sort of past life, but it comes with a formal declaration, a vow of sorts. If you'd like, we can conduct this ceremony post-haste, and I can deliver your Academy robes as a sign of your allegiance to the Amethyst Academy. In addition, you'll formally receive a monthly stipend, but you'll be required to answer to higher-ranking mages and, of course, the Directorate itself. Is that amenable to you?
I have some questions.
Of course. I would hope that you would.
Can you refresh my memory a little bit about what this now is? I mean, I know I did it before, but you know, the whole brain going to body and just everything. You just give me a reminder, just so I can remember.
The vow requires that you abide by the tenets and the edicts of Lumen. Specifically those meant to dictate the conduct of Mageborn across the continent. One cannot violate these doctrines lest they be subject to repercussions from either the nobility or the church. In addition, you swear fealty to the Academy as a whole, and will be required, if deemed necessary, to conduct Academy business as it is delivered. But for the time being, the Academy has not issued any formal orders. They have simply stated that you are to continue to assist with the reclamation of the Inscrutable Tower, which, given your current dealings, seems in line. If you are free to do so, I can summon one of my colleagues, and we can formally acknowledge you as a member of the Academy once more.
Sounds great. Just one additional question, very minor, not a big deal. I know you guys are a little strict on the robes. I know it's your thing. I'll wear the robes. It's just can I modify? Can I make some alterations to the robe? Just a little bit, as long as the body's the same. Just as you know, me with the staff, I gotta make sure I'm free moving, and just the robe can kind of hamper it down a little bit. So I just want to. Just if I can do that.
I think we can make that work.
Fantastic.
Oh. You listen as he slowly puts his fingers up to his temple. You can hear him sort of mumble some incantations. And a few moments later, you hear footfalls and the sounds of even heavier footfalls from a large creature. And on the southern gate, you see there is a younger man, human man, accompanied by yet another one of these shield guardians. He's got a thin jawline, or sort of say a sharpened jawline, and you can see he's got quite sharp ears. This is a half-elven young man, dark black hair, piercing green eyes, wearing traditional Amethyst Academy robes, but he's accompanied by another one of these shield guardians. This is one of my recently graduated students. His name is Eric. And he'll serve us as, for the time being, as our second witness.
I apologize, this is not the traditional formality, but as a person, I imagine you don't traditionally care for the formal dealings of the Academy anyway, so we'll simply skip that part. All pomp and circumstance anyway.
Oh, you know me so well.
But nevertheless, Tim,
Wait,
you swear to abide by the Edicts of Lumen? Do you swear to uphold the teachings of the Academy and the rulings of its directorate? Do you swear to share the knowledge that you learn over many years with your colleagues for the betterment of the continent?
Hold on. Me and Citizen Snips both accept.
Very well. Anyway, for the time being, we'll, well, he turns and looks at Eric. Yes, Master Runeweaver, what is it you need from me? Well, and he watches Eldrick reaches into his waist bag and he pulls out this long set of Academy robes. Eric, you're quite proficient in reshaping of magical items, correct? And weaving through. Yes, sir. It's one of my preferences for enchantment. What is it you need? I'd like you to make some alterations to the traditional robes for our newest member of the Academy here. Take what recommendations he has for his formal garb and see to it that it fits him properly. So, Tim, describe to me how, based on your description, what Eric does for these new Academy robes, and then I will describe to you what you receive.
So, I was thinking less of a robe. Like, love the robes. Robes are great, but you're running, you trip, not my thing. So I was thinking more like a sweatshirt type of thing, you know, just the top, some short sleeve, like, you know, like a workout type of sweatshirt type thing with the hood. I think that would be, you know, we obviously have to have the Academy's insignia. I understand. We can keep that. That's all good. But just something, just trim down, make it more like a sweatshirt type thing and some shorter sleeves. I don't want those dangly magic arm things that you all do. It's very cool, but it's not my bag.
I think I understand what you're asking for. Something a bit more utilitarian and more field-centric.
You're my boy. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're gonna be one of us one of these days so fast.
Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence. And over the next hour or so, you see him shaping this this traditional robe into a new upper garment for you. You can go ahead and add the robe of useful items to your inventory.
Ooh, I've never heard of that one. That's a cool one. Robe.
Yeah,
Okay.
You should find it. I think it's the robe of useful items.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see it.
Okay. So you see initially there are inside your new vestment, there are a number of patches, ones that are very clearly certain items. And then there are other ones that are you're not quite certain of at this time.
about, give me just one sec here.
Oh my God, I'm reading this item. This item is ridiculous.
It's a little strange.
It's so.
There are 8 other patches that you're not quite certain of beyond the very obvious ones. Like, one is very much shaped like a ladder. Another one is a roll of hemp rope. You see another one that is what looks like some sort of lantern. And you hear Eric states, these traditional garments issued to all members of the Academy. Feel free as your research progresses to modify these as you please, but these are issued to new members of the Academy at all times. Its use is in a pinch. If you tear forth one of these patches from the robe, it will manifest as that item.
Oh, that's new. I don't remember having this before. This is wild. Okay.
It's been more fashionable in the last several years as more field research has become a requirement for members of the Academy. And despite our abilities to arcane, useful implements and things, unfortunately sometimes the best tool is simply one that has been proven to be successful over many millennia. This just is a more efficient carrying device.
Got it. Well, very smart. I like it.
So,
Done good.
mechanically speaking, the 8 other patches will be random. That if you want to pull one of those, there'll be a random effect applied when you pull one of those. Beyond the more mundane, useful patches.
Gotcha.
As this goes on, Giorgio, early in the morning, you see Tobias Crow is hammering on what is clearly a large suit of plate armor.
Hell yeah.
And you feel fairly confident it is your order that he is working on, as it is much larger than any other suit of armor anywhere near this encampment.
Yeah. Big armor for big guy, right?
Yeah. Very obviously for somebody who's well in excess of 7 feet tall. What you also see is you see standing where you are early in the morning, you see Elias coming to greet Tobias Crow. And after a bit of discussion, you can't quite hear at this distance what he's saying, but nevertheless you see him place a large sum of coinage alongside Tobias's work table. And as he's discussing and pointing out things on the suit of armor.
He's discussing with him the armor that I believe is mine?
Yes.
Okay. And I see this as I'm walking up.
Yes.
Okay. Is he looking around to see if there's anyone, or is he just like walking up like it's normal business?
He doesn't seem to be... in fact, give me an insight check. First roll of the session.
First roll of the session. I've rolled a 17, and I've got a few more points. Insight is +6, so 23.
You feel confident. He doesn't seem to be nervous in any way, as he places down a pretty significant amount of coinage. Just at a quick glance, it probably appears to be over 1,000 gold.
A lot of gold. Okay. I will, if he doesn't look like, it doesn't look like he's nervous or doing anything weird, I'm just gonna walk up like normal and just say, hey, what's going on, everybody?
Morning. How are you doing, sir? We'll be
Feeling
ready for a
much better.
fitting here pretty soon.
Oh, is this mine?
Oh, yes. It's one of the finest suits of armor I've ever produced. And you watch as he sets aside the pauldron that he had been working on, and he's got it covered up right now, most of it. You see sort of where it stands now, but he pulls away this tarp that's been covering it, and it is a meticulously crafted suit of plate armor. And at first, you didn't really see some of the detail. As you kind of grow closer, you can see they are thick plates of armor. Like, much thicker than any of the plate armor that you saw some of the paladins wearing not but a day ago when you were in deep combat. Some of these plates are probably nearly an inch thick in places.
Nice. And he's letting me handle this?
He's letting, you take a look at it. As he steps away, yes, feel free to take a look. I've got to finish up this pauldron, and then we'll be ready to fit it to your specifications.
Okay. Holding one of the pieces that I'm holding, I'll gesture towards the other guy and be like, what do you think of this? You know?
You look at Elias, and he says, it's a fine piece of armor. Even finer with the bit of addition I asked him to add to it.
Oh, what's that?
Well, he came to me and stated that they were running low on some of the more intricate materials he needed to complete this order. And, well, Georgio, I'm not good at this, I'll be honest. This is sort of the best I can do as an apology. I gathered up what I could, and seeing as how you did all that you've done for us thus far, this is the least we can do to at least try to keep you safe.
Well, I can appreciate that.
I don't know what is to come in this situation, and this is the least we can do to try to limit any unnecessary death, especially for what we potentially may come to find is the truth of your succession. So, I've asked not only Tobias here, but Eldrick to chime in a bit on this project. You can see as he kind of points towards the armor, as you look closer, you see thin threads of some sort of material running through the metal plates. Almost like have you ever seen veins of stone? Like the different materials kind of running through, almost like a quartz or a marble. There's like this marbled effect, and as you look closer and you kind of turn it in the light, you can see it has an octarine color in the middle.
That's nifty.
Lapis lazuli armor.
This here armor is well, it's unique to say the least, and we wanted to make sure that it could, well, you hear Tobias stop hammering again. Oh, for Christ's sake, why don't you just let him take a look at it and, stop fuddling around the truth? All right. You mind, Georgio? And he grabs one of the shoulders underneath the armor and brings it out.
Mm-hmm.
As Tobias says, maybe a demonstration might be in order.
Let's see it.
Well, with your help, he lifts. This armor is heavy.
Okay.
For you, it's capable, but I mean, it is. He's having to use quite a bit of force to just get this thing off the ground.
And you bring it out into light, and now you can really begin to see as the some of the light is cascading across this steel. It's a similar steel to the meteoric iron that was used in your companion Chugrulk's adamantine plate. And it's been... You can see it's kind of got... it's hard to see without it being etched, like for a more aesthetic purpose, but it is definitely some sort of alloy of hardened steel, that adamantine meteoric iron, and there are threads of delirium embedded in this metal. As Tobias sets the last pauldron... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at Tobias. It's not gonna get me sick, is it?
No. We asked Eldrick, as long as it's encased and properly honed, this is a well-refined magical item. And it adds a bit of something. Well, let me just... and he sets down the pauldron again. Why don't you try hitting it? Or, I'm sorry, he looks at... Why don't you try hitting it? And he said... Give it all you got. Right in the gut. Sorry, I keep mixing up the two voices. So what happens when you have two very distinct, like, accents trying to play with each other. As hard as you can, right in the chest.
Okay, I'll give it a punch.
Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about the armor. And he steps back away from you. But...
if I need to make an attack roll on it, I rolled a 22.
Yeah, that definitely hits. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay. This is... Where's the D8? The damage is going to be 12 damage.
You strike center mass of this armor, and normally this would be enough with this flimsy stand that it's on to just drive this thing back in just a tool shed of destruction, and just throw this suit of armor back at least 20 feet from the sheer amount of force you apply as you strike it with your fist. But as you strike this armor, you can feel all that vibration and force is just almost nullified and dissipates, and is just spread. And you can, as you're close up to this armor now, you can see it almost like what would otherwise push this suit of armor back and its wearer does not move even a millimeter. And it's almost like at the very surface, you can kind of see right at the side of the impact. It's almost like the armor flows and out like waves and, ripples like water before going flat again and not moving.
Well, that's pretty neat. Is that magic?
It's a bit of a newfangled enchantment, whatever the hell the magic folk would be calling it. It's all that force directed directly into you. Doesn't matter how hard it hits. Can't be moved.
Fantastic.
But,
that'll come in handy.
Oh. Unless there's some sort of higher magic, as they be saying, no physical force will be moving you any against your will.
Yeah.
Anyway, it takes a bit of time, another hour or so, as Tobias wraps up the last piece of this plate armor, before they begin getting you set and fitting it, adjusting the various straps, things of that nature to get you in position. It is quite heavy. It's quite a bit heavier than your current armor, but not unmanageable.
Sure.
And it fits you very well. After he's adjusted a few places, he pulls off a few pieces that are a bit wide, and gets more of the proportions of your forearms and things like that, hammers them a bit and anneals them so they're a bit softer, and then allows them to reform. And even though you can... Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, and you can see as he's working on this armor, it takes all this force, and even though he's got it red hot in places, by the time he, within less than a minute from the time he is done with the last hammer strike to the time he has replaced it, it's almost back to room temperature. Like, all the force of the impact that he's hardening this material has all but dissipated. Like, it's absorbing that energy. Like, you can feel that, like, as things touch it and smack against it, there's definitely force, but none of it is able to, like, move you in any significant manner. It takes about 30, 45 minutes for them to fully fit the armor, but Elias looks at you.
Well, what do you think? How's it feel?
This feels fantastic. This is gonna do great.
You can go ahead and add Dwarven plate armor to your inventory.
Nifty. Dwarven plate armor. Fantastic.
So, mechanically speaking, I believe the way it works, it's essentially a +2 plate armor set, and you cannot be, I don't think you can be moved against your will by force.
It pulls it up automatically in here. It says up to 10 feet. I can
up to 10 feet,
that distance. So if it's less than 10 feet, I don't move.
Right.
More than that, it's reduced. So which is fine. I don't know how often that's ever gonna. How often I'm gonna be moved more than 10. So.
Right.
Excellent. It's very, very nice. I will thank Tobias profusely for it, and I will shake Elias's hand when I leave.
Elias takes your hand, and you can see the missing finger on that hand.
Forgot he did that.
Yeah.
I've also got some other news. Patrols are working to locate the other unaccounted for seals of the city.
Okay.
We know that this Queen of Thieves, whomever they are, has the majority of the seals. Without them, we cannot reestablish control of the wards the city has all across the city of Drakenheim. In addition, without the seals of the city, we cannot establish an heir apparent as a new king. The first priority is to collect those seals. So we're going to do everything in our power to try to locate the missing remaining seals. Well, I imagine you all are eager to find those that were taken by this here Queen of Thieves. Am I right?
Yes.
Or other
more personal reasons, I imagine, as well. As I said, I'm not the kind of man who's great at apologizing. What I did during the war was a poor decision, but one I did in order to save as many lives as I can. Unfortunately, by doing so, I found myself in bed with the devil. The devil that made us all pay a cost. But
he's making Giorgio mad again. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm not asking for your forgiveness.
No, it's. I'm trying to think of if I want to get into it right now with him. I don't think that I do. Do you have more to say from him?
We'll do everything we can to try to find the other seal, but I believe you all have a pre-existing appointment. I ask that you be careful. One way or another, this Queen of Thieves seems as hell-bent as we are to find these seals within the city. And your friend over there has one in his hand. One way or another.
Ooh, me?
One way or another, there.
We'll be careful. I can appreciate that you are trying to apologize. This, and I'll gesture towards Tobias, will help us be careful. So thank you for that as well. And then I think I would start to leave.
You can see he just nods. He doesn't try to stop you, but looks to Tobias and then back towards some of the soldiers heading his way. But with that...
Nah, I gotta go show my friends.
With new alliances, new weapons, and some newfound optimism, you all find yourselves back together mid to late morning to discuss what the future holds. What would you like to do?
Do we know when they're going out to deliver the body?
They've already left.
Oh, they're gone with the body.
Yeah, they were already beginning to... There was a large contingent of hooded lanterns accompanying the cart carrying the body of the Knight Commander.
Okay. I thought we were going with them, and I'm like, this is the worst idea. I do not like this one.
No, no, they've already left. I mean, you can try to chase after them if you'd like.
No, I think it's fine. I don't think we need to get into it.
But based on, just to remind you all of past discussions, you all discussed with Christian Lament, based on current ordeals and everything that's passed, you have about 2 days' time before you were expecting to meet back with Christian in Buckledown Row. One of the lieutenants of the Queen of Thieves. For a potential audience with said queen and among their more private fighting arenas.
And this is, just so that I make sure I'm right, we have that little thing that we sprinkle in the ground that it makes the sigil thing that's like, we're talking, like...
You have a small diamond with a magical arcane sigil on it.
Okay, yeah.
That is unique to that individual who created it.
Okay, yeah. So when we do meet with them, if we do that, and I think it was being in the presence of the Queen of Thieves would kind of verify that this is real, right?
It would verify that the individual that you spoke with, the individual referring to them themselves as Christian Lament, is the one that gave you that trinket.
Yeah.
That they are who they say they are. As you realize that perhaps either they were an incredible liar or the person you initially met with and did dealings with was not the one that you met later on.
Yeah, because the person we first met and the person we met second are not the same person, right? And so
as far as your understanding is that's you're fairly confident they are not the two same people.
So if the second person is like, so this is, if we use this trinket to say the second person we talk to is the person we're talking to right now, and the Queen of Thieves is right there, and she says this is the real Christian Lament, then we know all together that the second person was the real Christian Lament, and the first person was something else, right?
Maybe
because the when we meet up with this guy again, it doesn't prove that this guy is Christian Lament. It just proves that this guy is the same guy we met the second time.
Yes,
and proving that he's Christian Lament is the Queen of Thieves being there saying that dude's Christian Lament, because she wouldn't be fooled by this.
Yes, that is your general understanding of the situation.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just want to make sure.
There's no 100% certainty in this situation, but.
Yeah,
there are certain certainties.
Yeah.
There are limited certainties, I should say. But in this 2 days' time, is there anything you all would like to do to prepare? Restocking of items, selling of items, anything specific that you would like to do in this downtime, we'll call it, for the next 2 days.
I gave Tobias my old armor.
Yes.
Correct? Okay, yeah, as a part of the whole thing, so I'll delete that out of my inventory.
Yep.
I need to get another potion of greater healing. I would like to keep one of those stocked at all times if possible.
You all do have the it's nothing special as far as the armor. I think Chugrulk kept the shield from the Knight Commander, the +1 tower shield.
Yeah.
But you do have the plate armor, which is fine plate armor. It's not like anything unique.
Damage, but still good.
Right, but it still has some value. But the item that you can definitely tell has a significant amount of value is the sword that he carried. But you, at the time, didn't have a means of identifying what it was. But you can garner that it's very high quality. Like, near or like not as high a quality as Ignatius, but, somewhere pretty close to it.
I do want to find out. So who would I take that to get it analyzed?
Yeah, do we just have to study it?
Yeah, you would need to study it, or somebody would need to identify it. Either one of you guys, or one of the various Academy mages that's coming through pretty periodically.
I think we would want to keep it a secret if possible.
Yeah, so I'll ask Tim first. He seems to be
The most arcane.
A really good wizard out here.
Yeah, and if you did need to
Holy
cast
shit.
spells as well, for those, do consider that you would take a long rest, twice in the next 2 days. So if you're casting a spell, it's not going to really affect your spell slots for 2 days because you would have taken a long rest and regenerated it anyway.
Sure.
So if something, as far as these preparations are concerned, if you need to cast a spell as part of that, you have that option. Tim, do you have the identify spell?
Yeah, I can do it once a day. I got it from it's a feat I think I have now.
Yeah, I believe
Oh.
you can cast it as a ritual as well without having to
Let me-
spend. Yeah, if you go under
Yeah,
your
let me double
spells,
check.
there's a
Stuff.
book that says R on it. Those are your spells that can be cast as a ritual. So they take longer to
Yep.
cast, but they don't require a spell slot.
I do be seeing that.
Sick.
In fact, those ones you don't even have to have prepared as part of your prepared spells. They just need to be in your spell book. But if you want to instantaneously cast them via a spell slot, then you would need to have them prepared.
Oh yeah, no, I just looked. Yeah, I only have it through the feed. I don't have it. I don't have it any other way because it specifically says when I look at it, it says 1 long rest.
Right, but you still have it in your spell book.
Oh, okay, I got what you mean. Yeah, I got what you mean. Gotcha.
Right, otherwise it wouldn't show up under your ritual spells.
Okay.
So it's up to you. It doesn't really matter how you want to cast it, but you can cast Identify on the sword.
Okay, let's do it, baby.
Okay. You focus your mind on this intricate, finely crafted weapon. And it doesn't take long for you to realize what exactly this is. It immediately emanates a powerful, this is a longsword, a powerful divine aura. And after casting the spell and observing it, you realize this is a holy avenger.
Holy shit. Okay.
Okay, this thing right here. Woo! This this is something. This is something right here, guys.
Uh-huh.
It is a very finely made weapon, and quite valuable.
Have you guys heard of something called the Holy Avenger?
A holy avenger? No, I don't think so. Tim, could you explain?
Which one is it's a greatsword or is it a longsword?
It's a longsword.
Okay, gotcha. Can I post it? I don't know why it won't let me do it. I was just gonna.
Essentially, it's a +3 longsword, and on a strike, on a strike, it does an additional 2d10 radiant damage.
Damn.
Does it normally you have to be? Do you have to be a paladin to use it?
No, you just have to be proficient with a longsword.
Oh, okay. That's 50.
I believe it still requires attunement, but
Well, that's the thing. It does
that's
say
what I
it.
thought.
It does say a paladin. Yeah, it specifically does say it on there.
does it say pal? Okay. I forget.
In order to attune to it. That's what I thought it was,
okay.
at least.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, this is a cool sword.
Yeah, it's very neat.
This multi-class is paladin. You can throw that in there, right?
I don't know if you have the. You have a 13 charisma?
Do I have a 13? Maybe.
No, I know you don't.
I'm kidding.
I
No.
do.
You do? Okay. Yeah, I know you have the strength. Yeah, you need a 13 charisma and a 13 strength to multi-class to paladin.
Ooh, Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, no, my charisma's ass.
Yeah, I know your charisma and strength are ass.
Mine too.
I'm curious. Let me look ahead and see what else we got. Fighter. Because we are level 10.
Yeah.
And we get something good at 11, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, +3 sword.
At 11, we get another extra attack. So maybe I'll hold on to this maybe for a little bit.
Hell yeah, dude.
We'll think about once I hit 11. We'll think about multiclassing after I'm 11.
Yeah. You're not certain, Tim, what its value in gold would be, but given what you've observed from the identify spell, would be quite substantial.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be selling this just yet.
But the armor, in the same process, just typical plate armor. It's a bit damaged at this point, but still quite valuable in just the sheer materials and, as a basis for something. But with that, during this 2 days of downtime and recovery, is there anything specific that you're looking to purchase or try to find or repair? What would you all like to do?
I do want to offload this armor. I obviously wouldn't have a need for it. And I mean, I don't think, does anybody, you guys wouldn't need it, right?
I don't think so.
No, I still got +2 scale mail. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Chugrulk has his own fancy,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already got plate armor.
his own plate armor, so this we could just offload, sell it, and split it. Definitely keeping that sword, though.
Where would you like to try to sell this armor?
I would take it back to Tobias. See what if he wants to try and repair it and reuse it. I don't know how he feels about it being Theodore Marshall's.
I don't care one way or another. I've watched many men come to and from this city, holy or not. It's not doing anybody any good the way it is, so I don't have any hang-ups about reusing it for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I can give you, consider it's a bit damaged, 750 gold.
That'll do. None of us need it, so.
Very well.
You get a deal.
You exchange the slightly damaged armor for 750 gold. And at this point, is there anything that you need to purchase or anything else you're looking for?
I think just potions, right?
Yeah, I just want to get that one extra potion of greater healing.
Potent potables.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The potion of greater healing from the academy would be potion of greater healing right now is going to be about 150 gold.
Not bad.
Okay.
I'll
187
pick
gold
one.
for each of us from the armor, by the way.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and use that and flip it on over to a potion, basically. So,
150,
Okay.
Remove that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the greater you said.
Greater healing.
Greater,
Yeah, because
yeah,
I
for
have
150.
a few of the other ones, but that greater healing always comes in handy in a pinch.
Yeah, they have greater and a handful of superior. Those are 300 gold apiece.
I think greater's fine.
there anything else you all would like to look for, or is there anything else you would like to prepare? I will say, as in this time, this downtime, you receive an offer from Tobias, not necessarily to upgrade your armor, but simply to clean it up as a favor for the work. So, in the meantime, above the table, my plan was to update the character models as a little bit of a refresh as we go into later segments of the campaign. So if you guys would like me to modify the character models to reflect your updated weapons and armor, let me know in the future, and I'll probably pop on and update those before the next session. So if there's something more cosmetic or something to reflect that, I'll try to tweak those. So before I make updates to the overlays overall.
Cool.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Anyway, if there's nothing else that you all would like to purchase or upgrade or acquire, the day comes, the morning of your arranged date to meet back at Buckledown Row with Christian Lament, one of the lieutenants of the Queen of Thieves. And with one of the seals of the city in tow, and given your interactions back at the Cathedral of St. Vitruvio, you feel quite certain that you are no doubt walking into some kind of trap.
Sure.
Of
Nevertheless, this supposed Queen of Thieves holds quite a few of these cards in their hand. In the cathedral, they stole the Lord Commander's seal, Stuart's seal, the phylactery of St. Vitruvio, and the phylactery of St. Vitruvio. You currently carry with you the inscrutable staff, symbol of the head, the Archmage of the city of Drakenheim, and two other seals remain unaccounted for somewhere in the city. But nevertheless, it does give you some amount of hope that you can bargain or find a means of gaining a more favorable outcome. But nevertheless, it is a dangerous situation that you walk into now. The Queen of Thieves, or whomever they had sent to that cathedral, succeeded in making you all look quite foolish.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone else.
And everyone else. This is, as you understand, not a foe to be trifled with. Not a headstrong paladin. Not a mindless monster. But a cunning and dangerous, intelligent adversary. The morning of your departure from the barracks of the Hooded Lanterns, there's a soft pitter-patter of rain. Fairly nice day for the city of Drakenheim, but nevertheless a soft pitter-patter of rain. As the haze spreads out ever further each passing day from the crater and other deeply contaminated areas of the city. Let me go ahead and pull up the map for you all so we can have a little visual representation here of what is going on. As you head out from marker number 9, you remember that the Buckle Down Row is on the eastern side of the city, in this area known as the Spokes. Towards the end of that area, a hotbed for scoundrels, thieves, killers, and all manner of ne'er-do-well that have come to Drakenheim. They have found no other better place across the continent. For various reasons. As you head eastward, out towards the... well, I should ask you, what direction are you taking to head towards Buckle Down Row? There's many options here.
I don't know if it matters.
I mean, sure it does. We're
It mattered the last time we did it.
It matters a lot of the times. All right, where are we at right now?
You're starting at marker number 9.
9. Okay, I couldn't remember if we were.
You're
down by
heading
the temple
roughly to
or not, so.
where the end of the spokes is, as far as the lettering goes.
This is the way that we usually go, right? Because I think we cross here.
Mhm.
This is historically how we've gone.
Yeah, the
last
crossing
few
that
times
you're
we've
referring
gone.
to is where you... where the boatman, the undead boatman, is.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, our bud.
Yeah, that dude's hilarious.
Our bud.
That's at 8, right?
That's at 8, yes. The
Yeah,
crossing
so I
of the
think,
Duran River.
that's where that's the only way we've always gone. Oh wait, no, we've got special maps from the guys that show us safer ways to get places.
It shows you safer regions of the areas that their patrols are at. But you've noticed on your maps that those patrols don't go too much further past the eastern side of the Duran River.
Okay. Well then I think probably we would want to use that
That makes sense.
to get us to 8 in the safest to 8, and then from there
Okay.
we're kind of away from
On your own.
like we're kind of away from all of like this stuff. You know, we just
Sure.
you know stay low, but I don't think that we're not in a super crazy hurry. And the last time we did this, we were like, it was like 4 or 5 levels ago.
Yeah.
True.
We've done a lot that I feel like we should be a little bit more unconcerned, I think. If that makes sense.
Okay. Is that what you all have decided to do? Is that path outside the walls of the city?
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
If that's the case, you head south after exiting Shepherd's Way and Shepherd's Gate. Heading south through the sprawl, the densely packed, less well-to-do portions of the city at the time of the fall of the meteor. These homes are at least mostly intact, but don't seem to have the best of quality. Definitely more of a working class neighborhood, more single story, densely packed, smaller properties sharing wall to wall, almost like townhomes in the, in a modern sense, but definitely not as strictly defined, very hodgepodge together. Not like a scanty town, but not the nicest of areas of the city at the
Small
time.
little hovels.
Yeah. As you head downwards towards Temple Gate, where the massive battle had occurred not but a week ago, you can see heading through there are units of hooded lanterns on rooftops around this area. And as you grow closer, you hear the footfalls of horses heading along Temple Road, heading away from the walls of the city. And as you grow closer to this area, you can see that those footfalls are from departing units of Silver Order Knights and other cavaliers and chaplains of the Silver Order, basically like war clerics, if you will. You can see that atop the roofs, you see a number of the urban rangers pointed down, observing this exodus of Silver Order Knights. The gate itself, you can see at a distance as you kind of keep your distance from this situation as these Silver Order Knights are departing. There are a number of what looks like pyres on either side of the entrance to the gate, and you smell even now the scent of burning hair and flesh, and you see these mounds of burnt corpses of Garmir that were removed from that gate wall, stacked up and set ablaze by the members of the Silver Order. Unsure whether or not these corpses would reanimate in this haze that encompasses the whole of Drakenheim. As you pass through this exodus of soldiers, what do you all do?
Have they taken note of us really at all, or?
Give me a perception check.
That's persuasion. Whoops, perception.
You have no fucking idea.
I don't even see him.
You're staring up at, a hawk that you see circling up in the air over that pyre of burnt corpses.
About where are we for this?
You start seeing these contingents of knights as you're heading downward. You start seeing it from about here. This sort of open, what was likely some meeting ground or communal space among some of these smaller townhomes. And right as you turn this corner, facing directly perpendicular to the main road of Temple Road, is where you see these contingents of knights heading southward out of the city.
And what do you think?
I don't know.
I think we probably just keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst that's gonna happen? We fucking get they fucking do something else, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, we got somewhere to go, and
We got places to be. We're strong enough. We'll be fine. It's okay. Let's mosey.
As you all walk through, passing through this progression of leaving soldiers, they don't seem to pay you much mind. What you do see, though, having already passed maybe about 100 yards south along Temple Road, directly out of the gate, past where you're intersecting this main road and cutting across through some of the townhomes on the opposite side of the main street, you see that cart again. And a familiar draped cloth of the body of the now deceased knight captain. Either side of the front and either side of the back of the cart, a somber procession of knights on horseback leading this procession out of the city. And although you don't hear anything, you don't initially see anything, I believe Georgio and Tim, you feel like someone is staring daggers into the back of your head as you pass through this intersection. You turn, and just as you pass through and you're on the opposite side of the street, you see a dark-haired woman in plate armor, familiar face of the lieutenant to the knight commander. As you turn and look directly at her, she glares at you with an intense hatred before turning and looking back, heading down south along the road.
Does it look like she's in charge, or like at this point, or is there someone else? Because you said there's guys on horseback that are accompanying the cart itself, a bunch of knights marching. She's there. Is there someone else that looks like they're in charge, or has it? I mean, this is a very recent event, so.
I would say in this situation, give me an insight check.
18.
18. You can see that the way she's riding on horseback, she's not in the general marching order. She seems to be following along the sides, kind of keeping people in line. Based on her general cadence, you would imagine, she's sort of towing anyone back in line. That's
she's the one who's
directing traffic,
like hurting the whole thing. Okay,
right.
Interesting.
But nevertheless, as you pass through with that heated glare, you don't hear anything, you don't see anyone stopping you. You just keep going. After another hour or so, you come to the edge of the Dran River. It's a bit foggy on the surface of the water right now, but even then you can still see the subtle glimmer of contaminated particles all throughout the river. And floating just on the edge of the only dock at this location, you see a grungy old boat with a gaunt looking figure with an oar in his hand.
Man.
What do you all do?
Fist bump.
What's going on?
Is there any spare loose metal fragments around?
Yeah, what do we have? Do we have a spoon or something?
Do a quick search for something around here. See if we find anything, JJ.
You want a piece of gold?
He just holds his hand out.
I'll give him gold. This is our buddy. I'll give him a piece.
Okay.
You put a gold coin in his hand. As he goes to bite on it, and there's only like one tooth in his upper jaw. And as he bites
so
it, you
glad
can
you're
see
doing
like this, the tooth almost like folds out, doesn't completely pop out, but it like folds out in this like dilapidated, like rotting gum line. And you see him shove it in this pouch of random metallic items as he steps forward to begin unmooring the boat as you all board the narrow vessel. I think I still have the I do. Yeah.
Still got
Our boy
model.
Sticks. Yeah.
Nice.
As you all board the vessel, the leafless trees on either side of the river, and the dense fog settling across the still surface of the water as it slowly flows southward through the heart of Drakenheim. As you look on either side, you see small shadows of something ever so often moving through the river, and the flickers of octarine catching your eye as they catch the light on the surface of the water. Nevertheless, he grabs the oars and slowly begins to row. After about a short 20-minute trip, you find yourselves coming and bumping softly up against the opposite end of the river, where he slowly begins to tie off to that end of the opposite dock. You are now on the eastern edge of the Dran River, outside the walls of Drakenheim.
Getting closer.
It is about early to mid-afternoon as you depart the ferryman's dilapidated boat, continuing your trek eastward back towards Buckledown Row. You were approximately here. that, if I can get everyone to roll me a d6, please.
Got one. Did you say please be right back?
Yeah.
We have Chugrulk with us, right? How do we want to do rolls for him, or do we need to? Do we
Yeah,
just-
if somebody wants to roll another one for him.
I've got a second set of dice
Sure.
that I can
Sure.
roll with. If you guys don't want to do, like, if you want to keep it consistent, I can just do the rolls with these.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
It's five.
Somebody else just roll for a d6 for him.
Let's see.
Okay.
So I run to the kitchen real quick.
Yeah, if we need to take a bio break, feel free.
Yeah, that's where he went. Actually, I might as well, so I'll do that too.
All right,
Do
we'll
you
take
need
a
rolls for something?
Yeah, if you would roll me a d6. Okay. But anyway, jumping back into our campaign, which is not level 20, we are level 10. Still, just as hard to manage at times, but not
Demigods.
Yeah, yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there. But nevertheless, with that roll, Georgio, can I have you roll me a d20, please?
Yes, sir. 15.
15.
Good.
As you all head generally northeastward towards the spokes, following the map that you have, you've now sort of exited the region of general security that the Hooded Lanterns have established. As you kind of head towards, you can see due north of your position, the walls of the city. Looming almost perfectly due northeast, you can see the thick malaise and haze around the site of the crater where it had fallen on the south ward of the city. This chaos of this fallen star still affecting the city to this day, but hard to know the true extent of what lies within that crater. As you all walk through the city streets, some of the back alleys, and you turn onto one of the main roads here, approximately here, just a random side street, you find yourselves in the presence of about half a dozen individuals. They aren't wearing any armor. They are a mixture of young and old. They appear to be very humble looking, is a kind way of putting it. But among them you do sense a presence. Specifically you, Cedric, an intensely divine presence. An attachment to something of great power. And as that focus draws your attention, you look past the 4 or 5 other individuals, and you look upon this much older, feminine figure. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was gonna ask, they're not wearing any armor or anything, but do they have any sort of like clothing with insignias or anything that could possibly tie us into who they might be, if they have any affiliations or anything like that?
You don't see any insignias on these individuals. But they have very humble garb, and they carry themselves in a humble manner. You get the strong suspicion that these are individuals of some sort of pilgrimage or some sort of holy endeavor. But you immediately look past these individuals to this feminine form opposite all of them from you. She is quite old. Her hair is stringy, silvery white. Her skin quite taut to her thin-framed figure. And you recognize this individual immediately.
Yo, what up, Lucretia?
So casual with it. Love it.
Hold on. Where's the picture? There we go. Yeah. She looks to her followers and then to the four of you. It is a pleasure to see you all in good health.
Likewise. Seems like you might be making your way to the crater if you're out this far.
Not exactly. We are gathering newcomers to the city who have made the pilgrimage to witness for themselves the truths of this world.
Where did they come from exactly? It seems like quite a few of them coming through.
We have many who come to seek the truths that the flame provides.
Oh, so this is just a hodgepodge of people that didn't come from one particular city outside of here.
Give me a perception check as you look over the individuals. She simply nods to you.
This went well last time.
Something.
It's better than a 4.
It's hard to see, like, area of origin, as these individuals look quite, modest is a nice way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say very poor looking.
Sure.
So it's hard to say, as every country on the continent has their own poor, and they all have a similar vibe.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, she looks at you all. We had gone to observe at a distance, in addition to escorting these pilgrims back to the monastery. I went to pay respects to a good man who passed. I wish I could do more, but I do not wish to engage in conflict unnecessarily. Such is not my way of doing things. She looks past you, Tim, and past you, Georgio, and past Chugrulk. And her gaze stops on you, Cedric. You carry with you a divinity, child. Soft flame still burns within you. But you also carry an ominous shadow that hangs over you like a mantle. Yet that light still flickers below it in your heart. And I can see in your eyes you bear witness to terrible atrocities. I pray that you find peace, and that you find the path back to the light. Might I ask that you accompany us back to the monastery?
This is a bad time, actually, but maybe we can connect when we're making our way back on through. We actually have to make our way just a little bit further right now to tend to some business from previous days.
Of course. I simply wish to speak with you all when you have time. I wish to know these supposed heroes that have joined in this era of darkness. I have seen many things and shown many truths in this place, despite its many dangers and many dark shadows. There is still a spark, a light of truth in this place. It is that truth that I wish to share with the world. Should you find time, come and find me. And she nods again. May you walk in the light. She looks to her followers and they continue their path towards what you assume is back towards the monastery on the opposite side of the wall. What do you all do?
I think we just can.
Yeah, we just keep going
on our way. Yeah.
I think you're the one who'd be making a decision here.
Yeah. No, I think that we should continue on our way for now, and maybe on our way back, make a pit stop.
Sounds good to me. Give her a big thumbs up.
She softly bows her head to you all as she passes. even though you, Giorgio, Chugrulk, Tim, you're not deeply in tune with the divine. But despite this woman's aged state and sort of, gaunt appearance, you sense there is a presence, an intense presence in this individual. It's not unsettling, it's just there's an intensity. Sort of like staring at the foundation pillar of a large structure. It is only a small component of a larger endeavor, but you sense the weight of it when you look at it at its foundation. As these individuals continue walking away from you. And they continue to pass. As you all head past the main road towards Champion's Way, one of the main thoroughfares formerly into the working class neighborhoods of the city, before it was tragically destroyed by the impact of the meteor. You can see this area is the most damaged of anywhere that you've been in the city. Most of the buildings here are scrap at best. Their foundations cracked. The wood splintered and shattered. Roofs ripped apart and thrown like pebbles in the wind. You can sense as you get nearer to the deeper portions of the haze, Tim, you feel that charged air, the density of the arcane in this atmosphere. For you, it's almost somewhat invigorating, like as if drinking too much coffee. Cedric, it is almost nauseating being this close to this segment of the city again. And for Chugrulk and Giorgio, you look on as your companions sort of have a differing sort of reaction to being in these haze-filled areas. But even you can feel the intensity as you kind of skirt around the deep haze as much as you can in this segment of the city. For you, the focus is just the raw intensity of the destruction of this area. It's only as you get towards the outer portion of this damaged area, deeper into the spokes, that any of the buildings even look remotely livable. It takes you almost into the fading hours of the afternoon to reach your destination on the opposite end of the city of Drakenheim. And you come on as you begin to hear life and ruckus, movement, as you turn down one of these not well-to-do streets, but at least intact and less damaged. as you become familiar again with where you are, as you begin to see individuals moving to and from this region of the city, as you head towards the entrance to Buckle Down Row. As you can see in the distance, high like a looming sheet of concrete and rock, the walls of the city almost completely engulfed on the outer edge of your peripheral or your distant vision by the deep haze of the crater. These individuals, these scoundrels, thieves, beggars, killers, and mercenaries don't seem to care, as they make do with whatever they can get, whatever they can take, and whomever they can take it from. You hear ruckus music. You see individuals all across the rooftops with crossbows, and individuals walking about the streets. It's not hard to see everyone around here has some sort of weapon. Just as you'd seen last time, everyone has a weapon. And you gather that there's probably even more that you don't see. You see planks of wood spanning the various rooftops across the streets, with individuals scampering across from time to time as they observe from the rooftops. No one seems to pay you any initial mind as you walk through this area. Nevertheless, you understand that you are in potentially dangerous territory with what you have and who you are. With that, let me go ahead and pull up the top-down view. Buckle Down Row once again. Oh, I should have hidden that one. But anyway, you have a strong understanding of where you're headed. Nevertheless, given your past discussions with Christian, of where you need to go. If you'd like, you can go ahead and drop your tokens on the board if you want to, but this is really just a visual representation for the time being.
Okay. We're coming up from the bottom, like usual.
Yeah, you're coming up from the south side of the Buckle Down Row and the spokes. As you were heading kind of around the bottom half outside the walls of the city, so yeah, you'd be coming up from the south side. You remember from your last encounter with Christian Lament, the bar in question was towards the northeastern portion of the main stretch of Buckle Down Row. One of the larger buildings, kind of in an L shape with a indiscreet well on the back side of it.
That was the well that we had to put money in for the fight pits or something, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, we've been here a few times. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to have changed much. Faces have changed, but the general vibe and atmosphere doesn't seem to have varied too much since your last trip here to Buckle Down Row. What would you like to do?
Last time we met them at the, or supposedly met Christian Lament at the bar, right?
Yes.
Both times it was, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go straight to the proper door.
The front door this time?
Yeah.
As you walk in, again, you hear not the worst of performances that you've heard here. In fact, probably one of the better, as you see a human woman singing a mixture of like a shanty tune to a more ruckus series that varies from a shanty tune to a less than savory series of filthy limericks, accompanied by an individual, a young half-elven man playing a lute, and another dwarven fellow using a sort of makeshift series of pails as a drum set, more so like a very questionable set of bongos to give sort of a baseline tone to this hapdash music. Nevertheless, your eyes are immediately drawn to a more finely dressed half-elven man. Blondish hair, dark blue navy, and royal purple cloak, and a rather elegant-looking rapier, having some drinks with a number of individuals in the center of the bar. As you enter, you are looking again at the face of Christian Lament, or at least who you assume is Christian. What do you all do?
We could just go up to him and get his attention.
Well, hello again. What has it been, about a couple weeks, I believe? Seems you are right on time, are we?
Always are.
It's good to hear. Well, I believe last time we discussed you were interested in a more private audience, potentially with Her Majesty. Is that right?
That's right.
Well then.
Now I know which Christian we're talking to as well.
Well then. And he looks over at the bartender, who sets a bottle of wine on the table. That'll be on your tab. Come along. As he grabs the bottle of what looks like not the best of wines, but definitely finer than the other schwill that most of these individuals have in their cups. As he sort of taps the bartender as he passes by. Oops. Taps him on the shoulder as he walks by, and the bartender just lets him pass through the bar. And you see, as he does this, these doors at the front here and the back door are shut by two different individuals. And he looks around, looks to make sure, and then looks back at you. Well, come along. And he stomps his heel down, and like a swing mechanism on this door swings up, and he grabs this wooden deck lid, and you can see underneath there's a series of stairs heading downwards into a lower portion of this bar. Do you follow?
Yeah.
Yeah, is there anyone following us?
Give
With
me a perception check.
Oh, smart to think about that.
Keeps going up.
It's hard to say. I mean, there's so many individuals looking at you in this bar. You don't see anyone initially following behind you. You do see there is the individual who had shut the front door. This gentleman beside Christian is following beside him, but you don't seem to see anybody following behind you.
Okay.
behind your entire group, but he is not alone.
Okay, he just seems like a lackey or something.
As far as you can tell, it's a dwarven man. On his back, he's got a rather nasty-looking heavy crossbow strapped to his back. And on either side, these rather gruesome-looking curved serpentine short swords at each hip.
Okay. Georgio and I could spike him into a wall if need be, but I'm fine with him.
As you all head down this narrow staircase, down, 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 you begin to hear a trickling of water. That seems to be moving. And you see that Christian, or the silhouette of Christian in this darkened area. Those of you without dark vision, it's as you get towards the bottom of this stair, it is very dark and hard to see. I believe Chugrulk has dark vision. Tim, I don't believe you have dark vision, correct?
Right.
I think we've been through this before in Chugrulk.
Only Chugrulk.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see Chugrulk, he's kind of watching these two individuals. The rest of you have no idea what's going on until you see the light of an oil lantern ignite in the hand of Christian. And he hands it off to his dwarven companion. Come along, then. Wouldn't want you tripping in the water. Does some nasty things. And you look over as some of the light from this lantern shines in the water, and it looks as heavily contaminated as the river.
Yee.
And as you look, as the kind of light spreads out, this seems to be some sort of sewer system that you're walking into.
Gross.
It's not really like a sanitary sewer. It's more of like a storm sewer, but it has that stale scent of the areas where the running water has not like kind of touched him very often. So that like leftover sediment has left that like stale, metallic-y, way past due scent all throughout this space. And it's very damp and musty down here. In addition, like anything that is down here as far as like organic material doesn't look to be faring too well. Like the only thing that really seems to be alive down here other than yourselves is like this awful looking greenish purplish moss that is kind of stuck in like random areas along the edges of the walk paths. Don't touch that, whatever you do. Not unless you want a couple extra fingers or toes. If you're lucky. Give me just a moment here, and I will pull up. It should all be dark. I still need to reveal some areas. But you walk through initially. Let's see. Here we go. You walk through with Christian through the space here along this storm drain. It's about 15, 20 foot wide. Why is it not showing anything? Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. It's at the bottom. Bottom left. And as the light kind of spreads out about 100 feet or so, you come to an area where like part of the wall has collapsed from either an impact or some sort of earthquake, or likely some combination of the two. Perhaps from the impact of the meteor had collapsed some of these structural walls. And you can see that part of it's been cleaned up, while part of it has just been left to, as water has kind of pushed through it over time and eroded some of the rubble. But on the right-hand side, you see a wall that has been chiseled out, and there's a ladder and a step ladder, like a very hapdash series of steps leading into a space off to the right as you're heading up this storm drain. And from there, you see through that little hole as well, there is a strong light coming out of that hole. And you hear sounds of voices and the clinking of metal and glass and a sort of rowdy, like even more rowdy atmosphere than the one that you had heard up on the surface. As you turn that corner, this is what you see. There we go. As Christian steps up this ladder, you can see you're now walking into some sort of underground tavern. You can see there are a much denser number of people here. Including none less than a squatty human-looking man with reddish-brown hair that you haven't seen in a number of weeks, but you recognize immediately when you begin to hear the voice. So I was telling the bride that she owed me money, and I wasn't walking away until she was going to pay. And as Christian walks in and looks, and you, if you guys want to place your tokens down, you can as well in this area. You can hear there's some sort of mechanical music being played from somewhere. You're not quite sure. It seems to be coming from all around this space. But yes, you do hear and see the greasy, reddish-brown face, sideburn face of Blackjack Mel, not too far off the bar, having a discussion with a gentleman. Just a moment here. Something up here. That is not what I wanted to do. Hold on. There we go. But let me find it. Just a moment. Sorry, I didn't have this pulled up. There we go. That's the page I wanted. This wide sewer passage has been transformed into a makeshift tavern. The main canal is drained, relatively dry and blocked with debris in several places. Wooden planks hammered and lashed across the canal form bridges and decks above, accessible through the ladder-like stairways. The broad upper sewer walkways have been cleared out to make room for about a dozen round tables with stools set around each. Hanging lanterns are strung up throughout the light to light the chamber, and a few coal stoves provide meager warmth. An impressive bar has been constructed, lined with bar stools from which a curiously dapper mechanical barman serves ale and mead. At the far end of the tavern is a small band of ruffians performing lively music upon an improvised stage. Several rogues and thieves mingle about. And as you look further down, you can now see where that music is kind of echoing down this former sewer tunnel. And you see that this debris has blocked off what was previously a sort of side segment of this storm drainage. Tim, your eye is fixated on the barman as you look inward to this space, as they are in fact a similar sort of metallic framed form such as yourself, wearing fine clothing, a black vest, a white shirt, but nevertheless a similar sort of construct to yourself. Well, welcome to the tavern, gentlemen. Why don't you all grab yourself some libations while I go and discuss with the proprietor? As he begins to step away from you all, heading deeper into the tavern. You can see as you enter in, several of the individuals here walking in have already begun to eye you all as you entered into the tavern. In fact, let me go ahead and give you another visual representation of this space.
That's pretty cool.
And there's the barman that you can see in the background there.
Oh, is he just a construct?
Yes, he's...
Cool.
As far as you can tell, he seems to be of similar design, a bit more crude, but a similar design to your companion, Tim. I can't get this to show very well for the audience. But nevertheless, you can see that this sort of semi-collapsed, semi-dug-out storm drainage tunnel has been turned into an underground makeshift bar. But with that, as Christian steps away, grabbing a... well, in fact, hold on one moment. Let me put this back up so you can see here. As Christian steps away, he in fact looks over at the barman. Pour me a very dry red. And almost swiftly, this automaton kind of spins around. Their feet never moving, but their waist spinning 180 degrees as he grabs a bottle of red wine and pops the cork off and begins to pour it in a small wooden cup for Christian. I'll be back in just a moment, as he turns to look at you all and then turns back, beginning to sip the wine as he walks through the makeshift tavern, heading towards this space you see over here. You can see as he walks in, he steps into this greenish, yellow, acrid-looking smoke before disappearing down that hallway. But with that, what do you all do? As you are left at the entrance... I'm sorry, I mean to move you there. Let me go ahead and add Chugrulk's token as well here. As you are left at the entrance to this bar, being eyed by some of these cutthroats and scoundrels, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go ahead and grab a drink.
Seems like a good idea.
Try to blend in, seem somewhat friendly.
Mm-hmm.
As you go to get a drink, you feel a set of eyes turn, passing by another individual and then looking at you all. Hey, look who's here! It's been such a long time, friends! Where have you been? As Blackjack Mel steps over beside you all.
I extend my hand to shake it, and
He goes to shake your
agree.
hand at first, and then... I remember last time you tried that one. We'll just, we'll do the... and he taps you on the elbow with his elbow. Nice try there, friend.
Wise guy.
What are you gonna do?
You know, fool me once, shame on you. Well, what
extend my
brings
left
you
hand.
to the fine establishment here, fellas?
We got some... Christian's gonna introduce us to somebody we don't know yet, but he brought us down here to...
Well,
meet
there's
up with
really only a couple reasons you're here. Only the finest of the fine find their way here.
Mhm.
That's us.
I would say that's us.
Ah. So you're looking for an audience, is that it?
Christian
Yeah.
said he had somebody that...
Yeah, we're being introduced.
It's interesting. There's been a lot of hubbub the last couple days, you know? Ever since that their angry wolf thingamabob got offed. It didn't happen to be you all, was it?
Angry wolf thingamabob. I'm not.
You know, the big one with the nasty looking arrows and the big flail and...
Who else do you think could have done it, Chris?
Blackjack, Mel.
Well, I don't know. He could have just up and dropped dead in the street. I'm just curious. You know, looking for a good story.
Yep, that was us. That was the four of us. We dispatched of the wolf guy. I forget what they call him.
Yeah, that, what's the... And he bumps the guy beside on the other side.
The Lord of the Feast.
Yeah, that one! That one, yeah, he was nasty. Nasty kind of thing. But I also heard that, you all had, gone in that holy place with all them fancy clerics and fancy paladins and whatnot. And they said you came out with some fine-looking things.
Where'd you hear that?
I hear a lot of things, friend. It's my job.
I don't think that one was us.
Yeah, I mean, I got a cool hammer recently, but
Huh. Because what I
I was
heard
confused.
when you came back topside, a certain someone made a fool of yous. But that's just what I heard, and he takes a big drink.
Well, who? Who's a certain someone? I don't remember meeting anybody that made a fool of us.
Good one, friend. And he looks at the bartender. Pour me another one. As he takes a drink, he looks at you all. Well, you enjoy yourselves. Christian should be back in any minute. And he walks away to head over towards what looks like a game of cards heading on one of these tables. With that, what are you all doing?
cards with him. That's how we met him. Is there room at the table?
It all went south from there.
There is room at the table.
Then I'll go take a seat and ask him to deal me in. Might as well play while I'm waiting.
Okay. They deal you in. The ante is 10 gold.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll 2 d12s.
2 d12s. All right. And I'm watching.
On 24.
I'm watching Mel very closely because he
Okay.
was cheating last time. I've got a 2 and an 11.
2 and 11. Okay. So the goal is to try to get to. It's basically like similar to a blackjack,
Mhm.
except you roll a d12 every time. If you go over 21, you bust.
Yeah, so 12 instead of 13.
But you're also competing against the other players at the table. More so than
Yeah.
the dealer. So you're trying to get as close to 21. And the winner,
Yeah.
if both players get 21, is the one with the fewer cards to get there. You can see Mel has 2 cards currently that he hasn't shown. And then 2 other guys, one of which has already turned over his cards. He's busted. The other one asked for another card. Just a sec here. And then he asks for another card. And he busts. You look at Mel. He asked for one more card. Georgio, give me a perception check.
Perception check. Not good.
Boy.
9. A 9.
9? He's got 3 cards.
He's got 3 cards.
He's got
take
3
one more,
cards. Okay.
and I've rolled a 3. So I've
3,
got a
okay.
2, a 3, and an 11.
2, 3, and 11. Okay.
Which puts me at 16.
16. Mel hasn't played his hand yet. He's just looking at you.
And how does it? You don't play your hand until.
You don't play your hand until you choose or you bust.
Okay. And you don't like it's all or nothing. You reveal your hand when you're done, and that's it.
Yeah, or you choose to be done.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have
I'll
to
do
get
it.
to 21.
Yeah,
That
you just
ideally,
you just need
yeah.
to be the best.
Right.
You just need to be the highest. There is
Yeah.
no
Gotta
dealers,
be the
just-
best.
So I've got an 11, a 2, and a 3.
Okay.
So I'm at 16.
Yep. He's looking at
Oh.
you closely. He's only holding 3 cards and he hasn't asked for another.
I'll ask for another.
Oh.
And I rolled a 4.
Okay.
Okay. So 2, 3,
Ooh.
4, and 11, which puts me at
20.
right at 20. Right.
Hot.
And so obviously I'm going to stop here.
You put down your hand. He puts down his. He's got 21.
He's got 21. Sure enough.
Wow, how convenient.
You got me. I
Oh,
was
hey, I'm
watching,
friend.
man.
A deal you in for another?
Sometimes good isn't enough. I'll do one more.
Okay.
I'm watching him even closer.
Okay. Go ahead and roll 2 more d12s.
So this one is a 1, and this one
Good
is
start.
a 5.
Okay.
So
That's
start
not
with-
bad.
A lot of room to work with.
Okay. The other 2 are going to deal in as well. Okay. Okay. Starting with the two on the opposite side. The first guy, he's going to ask for another. And he holds. The other guy. He takes one card. You see him thinking. He asks for another. You see him immediately as glare turns down, slams his hand into the table and throws his cards out. He busts. And then you look at Mel. He asks for one more card. And another. Okay. And he holds. What do you do?
4.
He's at 4, yeah.
Okay. My next card that I'm asking for is 6, so I'm at 12.
Okay.
I'll ask for one more again. And this one is an 11. And so I will reveal that I busted. Because I don't know how to cheat.
He puts down his hand. He's got a 4, 6, an 8, and a 2. For 20.
Wow.
I could have beat him that time.
Well, he was at 20.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
there was a chance.
Yeah. Still feeling lucky, friend?
Never have been good at cards. So I'll just.
Well, we all have
Thank you.
preferred means and methods in life. As this is going on, Tim and Cedric, what are you doing?
I'm staying at the bar, just kind of looking around, seeing if there is any shifting figures or faces or anything kind of going on.
Mm-hmm. Also, Giorgio, you're down 20 gold.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
$19.
19. There are a number of eyes on you all. There's probably half a dozen people eyeing these newcomers. You can kind of see as they kind of eye you up and down. Some of them you can see staring at your weapons. Cedric, you see one across the way staring at Tim. Specifically, this fancy staff in his hand.
But no one seems to be moving. They're just kind of staring about.
They're just kind of staring from where they are. Tim, what are you doing?
I am just standing by, watching Giorgio play.
You all continue to nurse your drinks and wait. And wait. And wait. Giorgio, roll me a d20.
I rolled a 2.
As you continue to play cards?
No, I was just gonna play those 2
Okay.
hands and then
Okay.
get up and go back to the bar.
Okay, you don't lose any more gold.
Yeah.
As you all nurse your drinks, trying to keep your senses about you, you find yourselves waiting a long while. Christian hasn't returned yet. What do you
And you
do?
went down that hall that's over here on the right side.
Yes.
Can I just call out to Mel? When he's done with his hand, I have a quick question for him.
Can I help you, friend? What do you need?
This is taking a little bit longer than I expected. Do you know? Is this usually the protocol for people that come down here that might be as you said, looking to have an audience with someone down here?
It depends. Depends on who you're trying to meet. If you're in a hurry, I recommend you might ask the bartender what you should do. He's always good for a bit of wisdom.
Okay. I'll ask the bartender then.
What do you ask the bartender?
I'm just gonna say it so it's not too terribly loud, but not in a whisper. I think we were looking for the Queen of Thieves.
As he's cleaning glasses and pouring drinks, and you whisper over to him, "We're looking for the Queen of Thieves." You look as his head slowly turns, and even though he has no pupils, he's just these sort of ocular lenses. Not unlike your friend Tim, but not quite as accurate in facial expressions. The face is just very stalwart and doll-like. But nevertheless, you hear a response to your question. We're looking for the Queen of Thieves. And this is the response you get. The Queen of Thieves bids you, any who seek audience, drink to her true name. And then he sets up a series of items in front of you all. Right here. Approximately right where you are, Georgio. The first is a bottle of red wine. The second, a cask of yellow mead. Third, a jug of white milk. Fourth, a pot of black coffee. And in front of each one, several drinking cups. And he says again, the Queen of Thieves bids any who seek an audience drink to her true name. And then the barman speaks again. It's a drink more pure than water and more deadly than poison. When you finish your drink, it fills your cup, but you'll die if it's all you have to drink. Pick your poison and walk through the corridor.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the most recent thing that the barman said? Sorry.
Yeah.
Or post it, whichever.
Yeah, he says, the Queen of Thieves bids you, any who seek an audience, drink to her true name. He says, again after this, it's a drink more pure than water and more deadly than poison. When you finish your drink, it fills your cup, but you'll die if it's all you have to drink. Pick your poison and walk through the corridor. And he turns his head and looks at the corridor that Christian had exited through. And you can see as he's saying this to you all, there's a wide number of eyes watching you now, including Mel. What do you do? Again, in front of you, you have a bottle of red wine, a cask of yellow mead, a jug of white milk, a pot of black coffee, and a glass in front of each one of them.
There's a glass in front of each one.
There's an empty glass in front of each one of those 4 liquids. Do you want me to repeat? Do you want me to repeat it again?
Trying
No,
to fucking think.
I posted it in the in Roll20. I think that's the gist of it. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that so above, I'll tell you, above the table, I have no idea what. I have one idea of what this could possibly be, and
I have an idea. Yeah.
I do too.
And I think that this is kind of silly and probably not right. However, it's the first thing that came to mind, and I think that Georgio thinks that he is the smartest, and that when he thinks of this, he's going to be like, it's got to be this, and he's just going to go for it. And so my first and only thing that I could think it possibly could be is just air, right? Or nothingness, right? Like, and so he's going to pick up one of the cups, whichever one is closest, with nothing in it, act like he's drinking something, and then get up and walk down the hallway.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys agree with that, or if you guys think that's what it is, but that's what Georgio's doing.
Did you articulate this to us at all?
No. But it's clear that he's drinking nothing, right? Like,
Yeah.
like I don't think that there would be any confusion there on what I'm doing. But yeah, that's what I think that Georgio would do.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was figuring too.
I don't know what you guys were thinking of as possibly the answer to that riddle, if you guys want to pause for a little bit and think about if you still wanted time to think. But that's what this can all wait until we've all thought about the riddle out above the table. I don't want to.
No, I mean
rush anybody.
that fits every part of it, so I think that's probably correct.
Right.
What did you guys think? What do you guys think it could be though? Because I actually think that that's probably wrong.
No, I think that's right. I mean, I was on the same track as you. My thing was, essentially, it's nothing. My mind, it's oxygen is what I went to because so essentially it's the same thing.
Same. Well, the only thing that throws me off is that it's drink to her true name, which we know what it might be, but I don't think everyone else has an idea of who she could be. Nobody knows, and also none of the drinks line up. It was something
wine, mead. Oh, I'm sorry.
Her true name, which is who she was before she was the Queen of Thieves.
Oh, yeah.
It was Katrina von Kessel, right?
Katrina or Cassandra or something like that.
Yeah. So, but I don't think that none of those line up with the drink. Or air, right? Like none of that's the part that throws me completely off.
Well, here's the thing, and because I'm like not firing on full cylinders right now, but like when he says drink to her true name, that doesn't necessarily mean we're like picking something like that's based on it, like we're like raising a glass, like right. That's my thought. Right. I don't think that's part of the riddle at all. Yeah, I think it's nothing, and I think we're just cheering to the Queen of Thieves.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm No, I think I'm fine with not drinking in a sense.
Yeah. Do you have any other idea of what it could possibly be?
Out of what we have with mead, milk, coffee, and red wine, I don't know how
Yeah.
those could possibly fit.
Yeah.
I just thought something really stupid. I want to go last when we do this.
All right. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I have an idea what I want to do with this.
Who's going
All right,
first, or
Georgio
are you
does
all
his,
going
and
at
then I
once?
start walking. I'm doing that, and I'm starting to walk in.
Okay.
I'm gonna pour myself a glass of the red wine while I'm already holding one, and then I'm just gonna look at Tim, kind of gesture broadly, look at Chugrulk, gesture broadly, ask him like, "Hey, were you guys gonna do anything? Like, what's happening here?" And I'm like switching my hands constantly, and I'm taking note of which one was the regular red wine that I got when I first came through,
Okay.
not the one I just poured.
Give me a sleight of hand check, Cedric.
So that's another 6, so 23.
23 total.
Yeah.
Okay. You feel confident that no one has seen you swiping the glasses back and forth.
And I'm gonna down the one that wasn't from the bottle that the bartender just handed, and then start to make my way as well, telling Blackjack Mel, "Oh, I should probably slow down," and I hand him the other glass.
Okay.
I continue.
Okay. Well, thank you, friend. I appreciate it. How are you all proceeding?
I just want to make sure. So hold on. So, all right, I know it's Cedric. Georgia, you just drank a straight glass of nothing and put it down and
drank
walked.
nothing. I pretended
Okay.
to drink out of a clearly empty cup, right?
Okay,
Out of a
cool. No,
clearly
no.
empty cup, I pretended
Okay,
to drink.
cool.
Extreme pantomiming.
Okay, yeah, no, that's this is what I'm gonna do. There's 2 glasses left on the table right now. 2 empty glasses at least.
Mine's
yes.
still there. I didn't take it with me.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, so there'd be 3.
There are
'cause-
3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I took one.
Unless, yeah, he's got one in his hand.
So I'm just gonna touch 2 of them, and I'm the 2 empty glasses. I'm just gonna touch 2 of them, and I'm gonna swap places with them, and now I'm gonna just pick up the one on the right and drink nothing also.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear it go off.
Oh, you're fine.
Tim, the bartender, looks at you as he grabs the dirty glass that you were originally drinking from and hands you back the clean glass. Clearly, having seen you messing with them. But doesn't say anything. Just hands you back the clean glass.
All right. Then I just drink out of the clean one he just gave me. I just go
Drinking
put it
nothing.
down on the ground, drinking nothing, and walking.
Okay. How are you all proceeding? Are you going in 1 at a time, 2 at a time? What's happening?
I was not going to wait. I don't think that took particularly long. I think that they're going to be right behind me. But
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
going until I get to somewhere that I get stopped.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell Chugrulk, don't. He seems like he would drink the milk. Tell him not to.
He's just following you guys right now. He's following your lead.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll just continue on through the these green haze or whatever you called it.
You watch. Who's going? Are you all going at once, or are you going separately?
I would be in front, so I think I would get to it, and if it's something that we're going through, I would go through it first.
Okay.
But I do want to glance back when I hear people behind me to make sure that it's them and not anyone else, and then also looking back to see if anyone is following Chugrulk immediately.
Sure.
Right?
You step into the thick, foggy green air. You can't see anything backwards or forwards as you just try to guide yourself into the hallway. Before we say anything else, your companions, Tim, Cedric, Chugrulk, you watch as your companion disappears into this foggy, cloudy vapor in this corridor. You don't hear anything. You don't see anything. What do you do? As soon as he enters, he vanishes. Whatever this mist is thick.
I mean,
So you have no confirmation of what happened when he entered.
weirder shit has happened in Dragonheim. I'm gonna go.
I'm just
Okay.
walking.
All right.
I think we're probably right about whatever this drink riddle
I'm
is.
pretty confident.
You all walk into the thick fog. Some of you trying to hold your breath, not think about it. As you step in, you cannot see, even if you have dark vision, you cannot see anything. This is heavily obscured smoke. As you walk through, and you're only able to guide yourself as you touch the walls to guide yourself along this corridor. But the smoke smells like nothing. You feel nothing. As you step in,
Nailed it.
and as you step out, you feel yourself turning first to the left, walking about 40 feet down this 8-foot wide corridor, smooth walls of stone, before turning back to the right, a bit disoriented by the path that this has taken, not being able to see where you're going. Nevertheless, nothing happens. And as you exit this fog, you find yourselves in a dimly lit area, much wider room. And at first, it's nearly pitch black with the exception of a small bit of torchlight at the very end. And yet you feel a large number of presences in this room, flanking you on either side as you look down this corridor, or down through this darkened space. You were only able to see a thinly veiled woman in a barmaid's outfit who sits upon a rather posh-looking seat, staring back at you from across the room, about 50 or so feet away. As you step out, go ahead and I'll move your tokens, and I'm going to reveal this area. And as you step out, this is what the light reveals to you all. Move your tokens into place here. Step out into this space. This dimly lit area. You see a short, likely in her early 20s, brownish hair, greenish, pale greenish barmaid's dress. She sits upon this posh-looking lounge chair at this sort of raised platform area. Well, quite the show of intelligence there. But let's be honest, you were all a bit foolish to come here in the first place. As she says that, you hear that movement again as multiple torches light up. Sec here. You see, you are very much not alone in this room with this woman. Well, let's have a little chat, shall we? And I think that's where we'll end for tonight.
Cool.
Neat.
We're gonna die.
No, if we survive the last thing, we ain't gonna die here.
Gotta die sometime.
Hey, sometimes there's worse fates than death. Especially in Drakenheim.
I think we'll be fine.